Tonight, 4 more persons have died from COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of COVID-19 related deaths to 196, with the number of new infections increased by 38, bringing the total number to 8,787. As the government assesses damages caused by flooding due to heavy rainfall across the country, Prime Minister Andrew Holness assured assistance for persons that are affected.
I'm planning a tour island-wide if the weather allows to get a first-hand view, but I want to assure those who are affected that the government will be acting swiftly and mobilizing resources quickly to, as best as possible, help to alleviate any dislocation and suffering that may be taking place now.
Residents prepare for water disruption as the National Water Commission will be carrying out urgent pipeline interconnection works in Wakefield, Trelawney tomorrow between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And Jamaica has developed the first end-to-end insurance program for tourists traveling to the island, the Jamaica Cares Insurance Program, which is to be officially launched in 2 weeks. Good evening. 4 more persons have died from COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of COVID-19 related deaths to 196. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the deceased are a 56-year-old female from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 57-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 29-year-old female from St. Thomas, and a 55-year-old male from St. Mary. 3 other deaths are under investigation. The number of new infections increased by 38, bringing the total number of COVID-19 cases to 8,787. Of the 38 new confirmed cases, 17 are males, 20 are females, and 1 case is under investigation, with the ages of the new cases ranging from 2 years to 72 years old. As it relates to the parish breakdown of cases, Hanover has 2, Kingston and St. Andrew 6, Manchester 2, St. Anne 1, St. Catherine 9, St. James 8, St. Mary 4, and Westmoreland 6. Among the 4,126 active cases, 4 people are critically ill and 21 are deemed moderately ill. Some 115 persons are in the hospital. Meanwhile, 45 more persons have recovered from COVID-19, bringing that tally to 4,347. Jamaica's coronavirus COVID-19 response is being strengthened by the provision of essential medical equipment and supplies donated by the British High Commission through the Pan American Health Organization World Health Organization PAHO WHO Jamaica Country Office. Approximately 90,000 N95 respirators, 188,000 medical masks, 80,000 antigen rapid diagnostic test kits, 73,100 face shields, and 9 oxygen concentrators were handed over to the Ministry of Health and Wellness yesterday during a ceremony held at the PAHO WHO Jamaica office. The office is located on the University of the West Indies UWI Mona campus. Also involved in the donation, valued at more than $1 million, was the United Nations Multi-Partner Trust Fund. In her address, State Minister in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, thanked the British High Commission for the donation, particularly the antigen testing kits, which she said will be a game changer in the country's COVID-19 control efforts. Meanwhile, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Asif Ahmad, said they remain committed partners of the government of Jamaica in the fight against COVID-19. As the government assesses damage caused by flooding due to heavy rains across the country, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has assured assistance for persons that are affected. And we have more on this story with Colleen May.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has assured the persons who have been affected by the recent flood rains that the government will be acting swiftly to mobilize resources for their assistance.
I received reports from all around the island of the damage that has taken place. I'm yet to come to a full assessment because we're still receiving reports. I'm planning a tour island-wide, if the weather allows, to get a first-hand view. But I want to assure those who are affected that the government will be acting swiftly and mobilizing resources quickly to, as best as possible, help to alleviate any dislocation and suffering that may be taking place now.
Prime Minister Holness also asserted that the government has been strategic in building resilience to strengthen the economy to respond to natural disasters.
The sacrifices that have been made in making the Jamaican economy fiscally sound places us in good standing to be able to respond to shocks, whether it is a pandemic shock or a natural disaster shock. Clearly, there will always be challenges. Clearly, we don't have all the resources to respond as adequately as the expectations of the Jamaican people would be. However, we are able to respond without having to sacrifice our future, meaning that we are able now to respond in good measure to certain shocks without necessarily having to resort to borrowing. And that is as a result of good fiscal management and planning.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister further stated that even though the pandemic has significantly affected the economy, the country has never gone into lockdown.
The pandemic has affected our economy in significant ways. It has impacted the business community in significant ways. And we hear the calls constantly about opening up. Jamaica has never closed. We have been very strategic in how we reconfigure, how we conduct our business so that we can control the spread and not have a worst kind of impact on our economy. Again, let me thank those business persons who have been very patient with the measures that have been in place. But you will see that the measures have worked and are working. And if we all remain on the same page, there's nothing wrong with voicing other views. But when it is time for us to sing in unison, let us all come together. And now is the time when we all need to be together as one nation.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I am Colleen May.
Thanks, Colleen. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, is urging persons to exercise extreme caution in areas that are inhabited by crocodiles and not to provoke the reptiles. We have more from Nithisha Johnson.
The National Environmental and Planning Agency, NEPA, has reiterated its calls for residents to exercise extreme caution in areas located in close proximity to gullies, swamps, rivers, and other known areas which are inhabited by crocodiles, as some of these reptiles are likely to become displaced during heavy rains. The call by NEPA comes following a video that has been creating rounds on social media, which shows a man being allegedly bitten while attempting to capture a crocodile. NEPA, in a release, said it's urging members of the public to report crocodile sightings by calling the agency at 876-754-7540 or toll-free at 888-991-5005. The public is also being reminded not to provoke crocodiles, as these sensitive creatures may become defensive if cornered or attacked. I'm Nithisha Johnson reporting for Mello TV News.
Thanks, Nithisha. In other news, the National Water Commission, NWC, is advising that it will be carrying out urgent pipeline interconnection works in Wakefield, Trelawney tomorrow, October 28, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. As a result, customers in some sections of the parish will experience a disruption in their water supply. The areas that will be affected are Bunkers Hill, Wakefield, Friendship, sections of Bounty Hall, and surrounding areas. Customers are being urged to store water for use during the disruption period. The Trelawney police are probing the murder of a man who was shot by unknown assailants in his community in the parish on the weekend. The deceased has been identified as 29-year-old lifeguard Calvin Donaldson of Rio Bueno, Trelawney, and Christiana Manchester addresses. Reports are that at about 7:50 p.m. Saturday, Donaldson was driving his motor car on a road in Rio Bueno when he was cornered by men aboard two motor cars, which suddenly sped up to the scene. Unknown assailants alighted from the two motor vehicles and opened gunfire at Donaldson before speeding away. Donaldson was later discovered shot and injured and was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The police have so far not established any motive for the killing. The Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, has commenced an investigation surrounding the fatal shooting of two alleged gunmen by members of the security forces along a section of the P.J. Patterson Highway in St. Catherine yesterday. Reports by the police are that yesterday afternoon, both alleged gunmen opened fire on a patrol team which was on duty in the vicinity of the Spanish Town exit. The lawmen took evasive action and returned the fire, resulting in both men being shot and killed. The police reported that an illegal shotgun was also recovered. Jamaica has developed the first end-to-end insurance program for tourists traveling to the island. The Jamaica Cares insurance program is to be officially launched in 2 weeks. The initiative, which comprises two components, an all-hazard and a COVID-19 program, is said to be aimed at providing travel protection and emergency services to tourists coming into the island, as well as to ensure the safety and protection of workers in the tourism sector and, by extension, Jamaican citizens. Minister of Tourism and co-chair of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, GTRCMC, Edmund Bartlett, announced yesterday during a virtual press conference that the center has signed an agreement with Global Rescue for the implementation of the program. According to the minister, Jamaica is the first in the world to offer this end-to-end health logistics coverage. Scotiabank has announced that it will be making several changes to its branch network to better align its organizational structure with current revenues, as well as the shift in customer preferences. Changes include the closure of the bank's Black River and Old Harbour branches. The operations of those branches will be consolidated into its Santa Cruz and Maypen branches respectively. The Black River branch is slated for closure in February 2021 and the Old Harbour location in April 2021. Additionally, another 6 Scotiabank branches will be converted to the bank's digital operating model by January 2021. These are Christiana, Falmouth, Portmore, Port Antonio, Port Maria, and St. Anne's Bay. The bank indicated that the changes are in line with the significant shifts in customer behavior over the past few years, which have accelerated since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. It says branch traffic in some locations have been reduced by as much as 50% as customers continue to utilize digital banking platforms. And those were the stories making news. I'll return with the recap. We will now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.